Listen closely, because the story you're about to hear is not just a legend. It's a reminder, a map back to your strength, a message meant for anyone who has ever felt like life hit too hard, too fast, all at once. And maybe that's you right now. Maybe you're carrying something heavy. Maybe you're standing in a season where nothing looks like it used to. Maybe your heart feels tired from battles no one else sees. If so, then this story has come to you at the exact right moment. Because what you're about to hear is the journey of a warrior who lost everything: hope, direction, purpose, until the ancestors spoke and woke up the fire inside him again. And that same fire is waiting to wake up inside you too. People love to talk about strength, about victory, about the moments when everything finally works out. But they forget something important. Every warrior breaks before they rise. Every warrior has a moment where the world crashes down, where the voice inside says, "I can't take anymore," where the weight becomes too heavy to hide. And that's exactly where Kale's story begins. Not with triumph, not with power, but with loss. Kale was known throughout his tribe as the one who never bent, never bowed, never backed away from any challenge. But even the strongest warriors have a moment when life takes everything from them. And one night, under a sky with no moon, Kale faced his breaking point. He lost his home. He lost the people he loved. He lost the path he thought he'd walk forever, all in a single night. He fell to his knees, his hands shaking, his chest heavy, his breath shallow. And in that moment, he whispered the same words so many people whisper in silence: "What am I supposed to do now?" Kyle wandered into the valley alone. Not because he wanted to be alone, but because pain makes you feel like you have no place left to go. The world around him was silent, too silent. The kind of silence that presses on your chest, making every memory echo louder. He walked with no destination, no strength, no plan, just grief, just emptiness, just questions with no answers. And as he walked, the doubts inside him grew louder. You failed. You're alone. You'll never rise from this. Everything is over. But what Kale didn't know was this: when darkness starts whispering, the ancestors prepare to speak, because no warrior walks alone, not even in their lowest moment, not even when everything looks lost. Kale reached a small clearing, fell to the ground, and let the tears fall, tears he had held in for years. And that's when it happened. A sudden shift in the air, a warmth behind him, a presence he could not see but could feel, a whisper, not from his mind, not from fear, but from the ones who walked before him. "Rise, Kyle. Your story is not over." He looked around, but no one was there. Yet somehow he knew he wasn't imagining it. The ancestors had spoken, not to comfort him, not to erase his pain, but to remind him that warriors don't rise because life is easy. They rise because their spirit refuses to stay down. You're not hearing this story by accident. You're not here by coincidence. You're not listening to these words by chance. Something brought you here. Something guided you. Something aligned this moment with your heart. Because like Kale, you've carried storms silently. You've walked through nights that felt endless. You've faced battles that left scars no one else sees. And maybe lately, you've felt tired, drained, unsure, disconnected from your strength, disconnected. But the ancestors are speaking to you too. Through this story, through this moment, through this message. They're reminding you, your breaking is not your ending. You are a warrior, and warriors rise. Kyle thought he would never feel whole again. He thought his story was finished. He thought he had nothing left to fight for. But the ancestors whispered truth into the ashes of his life, and those whispers became the spark that reignited his spirit. And you have felt that spark before. Maybe it's been quiet. Maybe life tried to smother it. Maybe pain tried to bury it, but it's still there. And this story is calling it back to life. This is your reminder, your sign, your alignment. You are not done. You are not defeated. You are not forgotten. You are not finished. You are on the edge of your rising. Before we continue the journey, before we enter the deep prayer, before the breakthrough, before the shift inside you grows stronger, I want you to do one thing for yourself, not for the algorithm. If this story is speaking to your spirit, if something inside you is awakening, if you feel like this message was meant for you today, comment down below, "I am a warrior, and I rise." not as a slogan, as a declaration, as a seed planted in your own spirit, as your first step into the rising that is coming. Now take a breath. Feel this moment settling inside you, because what comes next will go even deeper. The ancestors spoke to Kale, and if you continue with me, you're going to feel them speaking to you too. When Kale heard the whisper of the ancestors, it wasn't a shout. It wasn't a thunder. It wasn't a voice that shook the mountains. It was a quiet, steady pull, a warmth that entered his chest, a presence that told him, "You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not done." And that same presence surrounds you now. Even if your mind is tired, even if your heart feels heavy, even if your spirit has been stretched thin, this is the moment where the story becomes prayer, where Kale's awakening becomes your awakening, where the ancestors speak not just to him, but to you. So breathe, slowly, deeply. Let this next part reach the places inside you that have been quiet for too long. You close your eyes gently, placing your hands in front of you, not in defeat but in surrender. Creator, I come to you with empty hands. Your voice is honest, raw, stripped of everything but truth. I've been carrying too much. I've been trying to hold myself together. I've been pushing through storms I didn't know how to survive. You lower your shoulders. Today, I release the weight I wasn't meant to hold. You breathe out slowly, the first release. There are emotions that sit deep inside, unspoken, ignored, silently draining your strength. So you speak to them. Heaviness, I release you. Your voice sharpens slightly. I release the sadness I never explained. I release the stress I kept buried. I release the pain I pretended didn't hurt. I release the fear sitting in my chest. You inhale deeply. I let go of the weight that is not mine to carry. Fear is tricky. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It hides inside old memories. It wakes up in the middle of the night. It makes you question your worth. But this is where it breaks. Fear, you say firmly, you will not control my spirit. Your voice grows stronger. You will not paralyze my steps. You will not cloud my vision. You will not weaken my identity. You will not decide my future. Then sharper. I break every agreement I ever made with fear, knowingly or unknowingly. You exhale. I reclaim my courage. Every warrior carries memories that try to cling to the future. But Kale's ancestors taught him, you cannot rise if the past is tied to your wings. So now you declare, Creator, cut every chain tied to my past. Your voice deepens. Cut the chain of regret. Cut the chain of guilt. Cut the chain of shame. Cut the chain of repeating old patterns. You place your hand on your heart. I am not the same person I was in my darkest season. You breathe out. I release the past, and the past releases me. Some wounds don't bleed on the outside. Some wounds leave no scar. Some wounds live quietly, waiting to be touched by truth. So you pray, Creator, heal the silent wounds. Your voice softens, but becomes heavier with sincerity. Heal the disappointment I tried to ignore. Heal the betrayal I still carry in my chest. Heal the heartbreak that changed my way of loving. Heal the exhaustion that sits behind my smile. You breathe slowly. Heal me where I stopped believing healing was possible. The mind can become a battlefield long before the outside world notices. So you touch your forehead lightly. Creator, restore my mind. Your voice is steady. Calm my thoughts. Quiet the noise. Remove the mental fog. Break the cycle of overthinking. Silence the voice of doubt. You inhale clarity. Give me peace that stays. Wisdom that guides. Focus that protects. Strength doesn't disappear. It gets buried. It hides behind hurt. It sleeps under exhaustion. Now you wake it up. Creator, call my strength back to me. Your voice grows brighter. Call back my confidence. Call back my fire. Call back my courage. Call back the energy I thought I lost forever. You breathe deeper. Let strength return to my bones. Kyle's biggest battle was not the loss, it was remembering who he was. Now you do the same. Creator, remind me who I am. Your tone sharpens. I am not weak. I am not broken. I am not defeated. I am not defined by my pain. You place your hand over your heart. I am a warrior. I am resilient. I am rising. I am becoming. After Kale stood, the ancestors whispered direction into his spirit. Now you ask for the same. Creator, guide my next steps. Your voice is sincere. Guide me to the right opportunities. Guide me to the right people. Guide me to the right healing. Guide me to the right path. You breathe and close every door that is not meant for me. Your spirit has shifted. Your breath is deeper. Your chest feels lighter. Now you speak with authority. I declare that I rise stronger. I rise out of fear. I rise out of heaviness. I rise out of confusion. I rise out of the past. You lift your chin. I rise into purpose. I rise into clarity. I rise into strength. I rise into the life waiting for me. And finally, I rise because it is my time. Silence settles, but it feels powerful, not empty. Your rising has begun. Kyle took his first breath after the ancestors spoke, and something inside him shifted. Not fully healed, not yet strong, but awakened. That is where you stand now. Not at the finish line, not at the final victory, but at the beginning of awakening, the place where the spirit starts remembering itself. This is where your prayer must go deeper, past the surface, past the obvious, past the places you've been comfortable healing. This is where transformation truly begins. So breathe slowly. Let your shoulders drop. Let your spirit open. What comes next is not just prayer. It is cleansing. It is breaking. It is rebuilding. It is the moment your spirit steps into fire and comes out renewed. You close your eyes gently, and your spirit speaks the truth you've avoided. Creator, I ask you to expose every invisible weight I'm carrying. Your voice is steady, honest. Expose the sadness I pretend doesn't hurt. Expose the stress I learned to normalize. Expose the fears I push aside. Expose the heaviness I've been avoiding. You exhale. I cannot heal what I refuse to face. So show me what needs to be released. Your voice sharpens, and give me the strength to release it. Some things attach themselves quietly. Thoughts, memories, people, energies, pulling you back when you're trying to rise. Now you confront them. Creator, break every attachment that is draining me. Your tone becomes stronger. Break the attachment to past pain. Break the attachment to old wounds. Break the attachment to toxic memories. Break the attachment to unhealthy relationships. Break the attachment to patterns I keep repeating. You lift your head. I choose freedom. Every warrior outgrows certain versions of themselves. Every warrior outgrows certain environments. Every warrior outgrows certain people. And so do you. Creator, remove everything I've outgrown. Your voice deepens with clarity. Remove habits that no longer serve me. Remove mindsets that keep me small. Remove expectations that don't belong to my spirit. Remove limitations I accepted out of fear. You inhale. I am stepping into a bigger version of myself. There are wounds that time alone cannot heal. Wounds that require divine touch. So now, with honesty in your breath, you pray, Creator, heal the parts of me I stopped believing could heal. Your voice trembles, a sign of truth, not weakness. Heal the disappointment that shaped me. Heal the rejection that hurt me. Heal the betrayal that closed my heart. Heal the loss that still echoes inside me. You place a hand over your heart. Heal me where my spirit still bleeds. Your mind has carried too much, held too many battles, processed too many storms. It's time to release the pressure. Creator, set my mind free. Your tone sharpens with authority. Free me from overthinking. Free me from negative loops. Free me from self-doubt. Free me from confusion. Free me from the need to control everything. You breathe deeply. Let my thoughts become clear. Let my mind become peaceful. Let my focus return. Kyle forgot his strength. Pain makes warriors forget who they are. Now your prayer reclaims what was always yours. Creator, give me my authority back. Your voice becomes firm, grounded. Authority over my decisions. Authority over my emotions. Authority over my inner world. Authority over fear. Authority over every dark thought. You lift your chin. I am not powerless. I am not defeated. You speak with conviction. I reclaim the authority of my own spirit. The ancestors breathed fire into Kale's spirit, fire that burns away old identities and awakens new ones. Now you ask for the same. Creator, ignite the fire inside me. Your tone rises like a flame, a fire that strengthens me, a fire that purifies me, a fire that protects me, a fire that guides me, a fire that reminds me who I am. You exhale slowly, a fire that cannot be extinguished. Some blessings don't arrive because something in the spirit world is blocking them. You confront that now. Creator, remove every delay in my life. Your voice sharpens. Remove delay over my purpose. Remove delay over my healing. Remove delay over my clarity. Remove delay over my breakthrough. You take a step forward. I step into alignment. Kyle lost everything. But loss is not the end of a warrior's story. Now you pray, Creator, return what was taken from me. Your voice intensifies. Return my joy, return my peace, return my strength, return my confidence. Return the parts of me that got lost in the storm. You breathe deeper, your spirit expanding. I receive restoration. Your spirit feels different now, lighter, stronger, more certain. This is where you declare your truth. I rise, stronger. I rise out of everything that tried to break me. I rise out of every shadow. I rise out of every limitation. I rise out of every old identity. You lift your head. I rise into clarity. I rise into strength. I rise into purpose. I rise into my next chapter. Your voice becomes unshakable. I rise because I was always meant to. Silence follows, but it's not emptiness. It's transformation. The warrior inside you is awakening. Giel stood in the valley, feeling the shift in his spirit. The kind of shift that doesn't come from clarity or comfort or understanding, but from surrender. The ancestors had spoken. The air around him felt different. Something inside him was changing, growing, waking, returning. This is the space you're stepping into now, the space where the warrior inside begins to breathe again, to stretch again, to rise again. But before the rising comes the refining. Before the breakthrough comes the cleansing. Before the rebirth comes the fire. This is where your prayer deepens, where it becomes not just words, but transformation. So, inhale slowly. Let the weight fall from your shoulders. Let your heart open. Let your spirit prepare. You're about to step into a deeper layer of your rising. You place your hand over your chest, not to cover the pain, but to confront it. Creator, cleanse me. Your voice is steady, truthful. Cleanse my heart from every bitterness that tried to root itself inside me. Cleanse my mind from every lie that tried to shape me. Cleanse my spirit from every weight I've carried for too long. You exhale slowly, as though letting go of years of pressure. Wash away everything that does not belong in the next chapter of my life. Your voice deepens. Make me new. Sometimes the biggest battles are not external. They are spiritual, silent, invisible, but strong enough to pull you backward. Now you confront them head on. Creator, break every resistance rising against my progress. Your tone grows more forceful. Break the resistance in my mind. Break the resistance in my emotions. Break the resistance in my spirit. Break the resistance that makes me hesitate. Break the resistance that keeps me stuck. You lift your head as though reclaiming territory. I refuse to be held back any longer. Every warrior has moments where they sabotage their own rise, out of fear, doubt, or old wounds. But today, you confront yourself with love and honesty. Creator, break every pattern of self-sabotage in me. Your voice becomes intentional. Break the patterns that make me run from good things. Break the patterns that make me choose pain over healing. Break the patterns that make me shrink when I should rise. Break the patterns I inherited, learned, or accepted. You exhale deeply. I choose freedom from myself. You close your eyes, feeling the places inside you that still hurt. Then you speak. Creator, rebirth my emotions. Your voice softens, full of sincerity. Rebirth the joy I lost. Rebirth the peace that slipped away. Rebirth the confidence that faded. Rebirth the hope I once carried. Rebirth the trust I gave up on. A warmth spreads in your chest, a sign you're being rebuilt. Make my heart strong again. Kyle didn't rise instantly. He had to move through a sacred, vulnerable season, a season that required divine protection. So now you pray the same. Creator, protect me as I transition. Your tone becomes serious, grounded. Protect my heart from old wounds reopening. Protect my spirit from old battles returning. Protect my mind from doubt. Protect my journey from anything sent to slow me. You breathe in strength. Cover me in every step of this transformation. There are doors in your past that cannot remain open if you want to rise. So now you speak with authority. Creator, shut every door that leads me backward. Your voice sharpens with conviction. Shut the door to old habits. Shut the door to old pain. Shut the door to old versions of myself. Shut the door to people who no longer align with my purpose. You nod to yourself. I don't live there anymore. Every warrior must learn to stand again. Not with physical strength, but with spiritual backbone. Now you pray, Creator, strengthen my spirit. Your tone is firm. Strengthen my discipline. Strengthen my resolve. Strengthen my boundaries. Strengthen my endurance. Strengthen my sense of identity. You inhale confidence. Let my spirit stand firm in who I'm becoming. Kale didn't know where he was going next, but he trusted the ancestors to guide his steps. Now you ask for the same clarity. Creator, open my future. Your voice becomes peaceful, certain. Open the paths meant for me. Open the relationships aligned with my purpose. Open the opportunities designed for my growth. Open the doors my heart is prepared to walk through. You exhale, and keep every false path far from me. Kyle lost everything. You've lost things too. Pieces of yourself, pieces of your life, pieces of your story. Now you ask for restoration. Creator, restore what was taken from me. Your voice grows intense. Restore my strength. Restore my inspiration. Restore my clarity. Restore my faith in myself. Restore the fire that once lived inside me. You breathe deeply. Restore what the darkness tried to steal. Your chest feels lighter now. Your breath flows easier. Your spirit stands taller. This is the moment of declaration. You speak with unwavering authority. I will rise. Stronger. I rise from loss. I rise from confusion. I rise from pain. I rise from every part of my past that tried to break me. You lift your chin, reclaiming your story. I rise into purpose. I rise into clarity. I rise into courage. I rise into the warrior I was always meant to be. Your final words burn with certainty. I rise because the ancestors call me forward, and I answer. Silence follows, but it is sacred, like standing at the edge of a new life. Your rising is no longer a possibility. It is happening, right now. The valley that once held Kale's tears now held something different. A stillness, a clarity, a quiet strength that felt almost sacred. He wasn't the same man who collapsed there. He wasn't the same man who walked through the shadows. He wasn't the same man who whispered, I can't take any more. Something had shifted. Something had awakened. Something had returned. And now, whether you feel it fully or only in small waves, that same shift is happening inside you. This final part of the journey is not about breaking or releasing or cleansing or confronting. It's about remembering. Remembering who you are. Remembering where you come from. Remembering what lives inside your spirit. Remembering the warrior your ancestors raised you to be. So breathe deeply. One steady breath like the first breath after a long storm. This is the part where your heart stands again. You may not give yourself enough credit, but you've lived through things that would have shattered someone else. You carried responsibilities that were not yours alone. You held pain in silence to avoid burdening others. You got up on days when your spirit wanted to collapse. You kept going even when your heart was tired. Now hear this. You survived what was meant to end you. And that makes you extraordinary. Not because you didn't struggle, but because you didn't stop. Every step you took, every tear you wiped, every time you whispered just one more day, you were building the strength you are standing in right now. You didn't just survive the storm, you outlived it. Kyle lost everything, but his loss didn't define him. His rising did. And the same is true for you. The people who left did not take your worth. The opportunities that slipped away did not take your purpose. The mistakes you made did not take your potential. The moments that broke you did not take your future. Everything you lost is tiny compared to who you are becoming. You're being shaped in ways you don't even see yet. Your character is deepening. Your spirit is strengthening. Your wisdom is sharpening. And your future, it's opening. Piece by piece, step by step, day by day. Your spirit is older than your pain. Your calling is bigger than your heartbreak. Your purpose is deeper than your past. You are not your failures. You are not your fears. You are not your regrets. You are not the version of yourself that existed in your darkest season. You are the warrior who walked through that darkness and made it here. Not untouched, but undefeated. You don't rise because you have no wounds. You rise because your spirit is stronger than your wounds. Just like Kale, just like every warrior before you, just like the ancestors who refused to break so that you could stand today. Kale's rising didn't happen in one moment. It happened through a series of awakenings, each one pulling him closer to who he was meant to be. And now, you are standing at the very edge of that same shift. The chapter behind you is closing, not because it was worthless, but because it has completed its purpose. Your new chapter is not waiting for perfection. It's waiting for permission. Permission from you. Permission to grow. Permission to change. Permission to dream again. Permission to rise. Permission to be happy without guilt. Permission to leave the old behind. Permission to become someone brighter, stronger, and freer. Your story is turning a page. Let it turn. Just like the ancestors spoke to Kale, the presence walking with you now is ancient, protective, steady, even if you feel alone, even if you feel unseen. Even if silence has been loud lately, you are not walking alone. There is guidance around you. There is protection around you. There is purpose surrounding you. There is love covering you. Every step you take from here is watched over. Every decision you make is supported. Every rise you step into is blessed. You are spiritually surrounded by those who refuse to let their lineage end. And now you are continuing their story with your strength. Kale stood tall, looked at the sky, and breathed in his new life. He didn't have all the answers. He didn't have everything fixed. He didn't have clarity for every step ahead. But he had something better. Fire. And that fire is awakening inside you too. Now whisper it with me. I rise. Again. I rise. Stronger. I rise into my purpose. I rise into my future. I rise into my strength. I rise into the warrior I was born to be. This is more than a phrase. It's an activation. Your rising begins now. If this story touched your spirit, if you felt something inside you waking up, if your heart feels lighter than when you started, do this. Subscribe to the channel. Join a tribe of warriors who rise together. Like the video so this message finds someone who needs it. Share this video with a friend who is struggling in silence. Comment, I rise again to seal this moment in your spirit. Watch the next recommended video. It will take your journey even deeper. Stay rising, stay growing, stay unbreakable. Your ancestors are proud, and your next chapter is waiting.